This is the pre-event. We're starting at Y Plate down here in Portland. It is the night before Drift Week 3 kicks off. I guess it is the kickoff tonight.
Yeah.
This is Chris Knapp from Old Bridge Town Raceway.
Old Bridge Township Raceway Park.
Old Bridge Township Raceway Park, better known as Englishtown.
Yes.
He is part of the family that owns the property. He is a drifter. He's on this Drift Week. This is his car. He is going to join us for the whole thing. He runs a drifting school. What's the name of the school?
East Coast Drift School.
All right. I always repeat everything. I'm trying not to repeat everything somebody says to me. And we're going to chat with him about what it's like to run a track and be a part of the family, which gives him unlimited access to everything. It's one of the oldest drifting tracks in the United States.
Yep.
It has recently repaved out some new stuff over the, I guess, multiple times over the year. It has expanded upon what it does for drifting on the grassroots side, on the pro side, on the teaching side. He's very influential within the industry and stuff. I found out that he has not drifted a lot of tracks around the country.
Yep.
Just 2 total.
Yep, 2 total. That was in take 1.
All right, so Cy forgot to plug the mic in. Cy is now forced to sit behind the camera. He put it on a tripod, which he never does, and now I'm forcing him to watch all this. Okay, so we're gonna redo all this. We're gonna do it more quickly because we both know what's up.
Yeah.
And we just want to talk to you guys about what it's like to be the owner of a track and all the opportunities he has and everything else, because I think it's interesting. So first of all, start off, tell me what it's like to be at the track on a day-by-day basis.
Okay.
Oh no, let's talk about the history first. We talked about the history.
Yeah, I can run through that.
So run through the history, just sweep through within a minute or two of the history beginning to end of drifting and also of the track itself.
So I'll go through 50 years pretty quick.
Go, do it.
So
we're gonna get good at this.
In the early 60s, my great-grandfather wanted out of his construction business, and my grandfather and his brother, so my granduncle, I guess, wanted to make a racetrack. So in '62, after they sold their part of the business, they bought farms in New Jersey and then built a drag strip that was opened in 4th of July of '65. And then they did drag racing for a real long time. Mid-'70s, they started motocross. Right around then, too, we had a seaplane airbase. So all of the seaplanes flew in. Didn't last for too long because the state said that we were too far inland or something. Yeah. And then we had a
so
real
it wasn't
airport.
actually a beach or anything?
No.
Okay.
So we're like probably 20 miles from the, 15 miles straight to the beach. So it's not far at all. And then we had big concerts. Over 100,000 people at Grateful Dead. Biggest paid concert in the world. Maybe it's the 2nd or 3rd now, but it's gnarly.
Sounds more profitable than drift events, but keep going.
And we had shows like, oh God, what's the punk rock shows, emo shows from like back in 2000, mid-2000s. Warped Tour, that's what it's called. I even listened to all that music. I don't know.
He's so young. He's like those old people classical punk rock concerts.
I listen to all that. I do. So we had Warped Tour, and we actually recently had a punk rock concert beer festival. That was awesome. That was really awesome. But yeah, no. In 2003, Matt Petty and Tony Angelo came to my dad, and they wanted to do drifting at the track. And he was like, he's been wanting to do it because someone mentioned it to him and he thought it was cool. And he was like, you guys only want to do 1 event? Or maybe it was 3. And they're like, he goes, how about 8? Or how about 13? Or how about 10? Whatever that. And they were like, what? What? They couldn't believe it. And yeah, drifting started at Raceway. And apparently...
And that was on the parking lot?
Yeah, it was in the parking lot. Apparently, Chris Forsberg was in that parking lot during that meeting filming a commercial for the first event. Like, didn't get approved, nothing. He was just there with a guy with a camera, and he was doing donuts in his RX-7 or something. Like something.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't know the full story because I was like 4.
Yeah. Special thanks to all the sponsors that make this possible. Thank you to BC Racing Coilovers, the most supportive coilover company in US drifting that supports and sweeps the Formula D guys. Thank you for supporting all of our friends such as Chelsea Denofa, Team RTR, Adam LZ, and everybody else. Thank you to ECU Master USA for doing literally the exact same thing. for being super supportive of everything that we do, including all of our friends that go drifting, making great products such as their standalone ECUs, their cool digital dashes, all of the other stuff. And thank you very much to Y Plate Imports for supporting Drift Week. Can't do it without Trenton. He gave us his shop. He's been doing so much stuff for us. Thank you very much. Oh, and you need to go get a JZX or something because prices are going astronomical. There he goes in the background. Thank you very much to Torco Oils and Fuel. We're gonna be incorporating them on this trip, handing out some of their product to some of the drivers to make them faster on the drag racing portion for the turbo guys and other things. So much rice here. And thank you to Drift HQ for providing the Drift HQ band to rescue all of us and bring out all kinds of cool products to sell the drivers. Keeps them on track more, which is my thing. I love keeping everyone on track, making sure they're having fun. So thanks to all of these wonderful sponsors. And thank you, Cy. You're the best.
I was gonna say, I was 4 then, I'm actually turning 23 on this trip.
You're incredibly young for having lived through so much drifting culture and everything.
Yeah.
Although you weren't aware of it at the time.
No idea. Like when you said option video stuff, of course I know what it is, but like when I got into drifting, I had no idea. No idea at all.
You're like, I've heard of that classical media known as VHS and DVD.
Yeah.
Have you ever touched a VHS tape?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that covers the parking lot, and then y'all built a road course. Tell us
So in
about
like
the road course.
2002, it was built for like supermoto, grip racing, all that stuff. And then you were saying how you were, was it Nopi?
Yeah, during Nopi Drift, I remember they said it was the first time they were going to allow someone to drift on the track, and they were having a Club Loose event there on the parking lot, and the Nopi dudes got to drift the road course, and the guys on the parking lot surface, the locals, were kind of upset that, you know, outsiders were getting to drift the track and stuff.
And either later that year or the next year, every event went onto the road course.
Yeah, that's rad.
Yeah.
And the road course is not like a lot of other road courses. It's built in a very different fashion than normal car road courses, which again, just like drift tracks are typically a lot more fun when they're like kart tracks or like some really weird configuration when they're not a giant road course with a straight and then a corner and then a huge straight and then a corner.
The way that my dad designed the track, good, he's not coming in here. The way my dad designed that track was he took all of the experience from motocross. You don't want anything to be the same. You want it to be tight, technical, gritty, hard to do. And that's what he wanted with it. And also, we didn't have space for a big road course. The whole place is about 400 acres, and most of it's taken up by the drag strip. And the only part, well, the road course is probably, I think I measured it out with the pits, is like 40 acres out of the 400. And that's what drifting uses, and now that's what Raceway Park is most known for ever, is drifting. And it's the smallest, littlest footprint out of the whole place.
It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, anything else to add before we go to the new track?
I mean, not really, besides...
Just lots of drifting on that thing over the decades, and it's been very special to everybody in that region.
Yeah.
And you run a drift school on it now.
Yeah, yep, I run East Coast Drift School, and if anybody wants lessons and they're up by me, you just gotta DM the school or me on Instagram, and we can set you up in a lesson.
Good plug. I like it when people plug stuff. It's what he's here for.
I didn't plug the last take. So.
I know, now we plug this one.
Yes.
So moving on, something super unique about that track is it was an accidental drift track and worked amazing.
Yep.
But it was an accidental thing. It wasn't built specifically for drifting. Very few tracks in America are built specifically for drifting.
Yep.
Y'all recommissioned or redid the drag strip into a Formula D track. Why did you do it? What was the history on that? Did the drag racers hate it?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah, they hate it. There's an account called Englishtown Memories on Facebook, and every day they bash Raceway Park.
And the drifters?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's really funny because some of like the Club Loose workers are in that chat, and they fight back with them, and it's really funny to read.
What was the reason y'all closed it?
So
was it just no longer economically feasible to cater to those guys? Because they're ancient dinosaurs that suck?
Kind of, sort of.
No.
Not necessarily ancient dinosaurs, but kind of, sort of. So what it comes down to is overhead, right? And the overhead insurance cost for drifting is very low. And then you have motocross and drag racing. You would think motocross
would be the most.
It's not. It was drag racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that because you have to be like sanctioned for NHRA big boy stuff and you go so fast?
I don't know for sure. Even though everyone at motocross always gets hurt, and like seeing a helicopter come to the track to airlift someone is a normal occurrence.
And in drifting, that never happens.
Oh, no, never.
Heads
Never.
would explode.
No, like people roll at Raceway and they just get out, I'm fine, don't worry about it. And like maybe they'll go to a chiropractor or something.
Which I need right now because this little tiny chair.
But yeah, no. What were we saying?
Oh,
before
we were talking about the drag strip. So
Oh, yeah.
y'all killed the drag strip, shot it in the head,
kind of.
and turned it into a drift track. Who designed the drift track? Why did you design it as a drift track? I would assume right before we get started, y'all designed it as a drift track because you already had pre-installed bleachers or something like that, and that's more expensive than building a track probably.
So the real
go for it.
reason why drag racing stopped at Raceway Park was because in 2012 we had Hurricane Sandy, which destroyed everything but the beach in New Jersey and New York. Jordan can tell you the same thing, like destroyed a lot of things up by me. And there were areas where the insurance companies didn't even bother sending an adjuster. Just, hey, this whole town is done. Write off everything.
Wow.
So tow trucks would go to that town and pick up every single car. And depending on your insurance company, it would go to a certain company. And all the companies were at Raceway for that whole winter. And they paid pretty good, just for 90 days, just as a holding facility to come in and out, in and out, in and out. And yeah, after that, they came back and said, hey, we want to lease 100 acres. And originally, it was going to be drifting that got the axe. It was. But the town said, nope, the 100 acres has to be on already paved surfaces. Already has to be paved. You can repave it, but it already has to be paved previously.
Is that like an aquifer type thing or something?
They just didn't want any more blacktop.
Okay.
Like we have 400 acres and probably before, it was probably like 92 or 85 acres is pavement. No, I would say the full 100 is pavement. They did take a little bit of land that got approved that isn't paved, that they will have to pave in the next, whenever they fill up, whatever. But yeah, they wanted it. We were like, okay. NHRA doesn't help us out anymore. It costs us money, like way too much money to have them there.
Keep going. Keep talking. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna ask them to shut that thing off.
This is my show now. Yeah. So you guys come here often? Sai, you come here often?
Can you just turn the engine off? Thank you.
He said no if you couldn't hear.
So much diesel engine in the background. All right, keep going.
I told everyone this was my show now.
Yeah. No, keep going.
So it was me and my dad who designed the track, pretty much. We had outside influences from Forsberg, and a big one was Kevin from FD. I'm pretty sure our final design was mine and Kevin's idea. The whole figure eight. My original idea was that last corner. We didn't really want to pave too much. We ended up with like, I think, almost 20,000 square feet of paving to make that track. And my design was only maybe 16,000, 14,000 square feet. But Kevin from FD wanted the last corner to be bigger. And when they say they want it, we were like, I guess it can't hurt. So that's what we did.
And why didn't y'all make like jumps or corkscrews or, you know, hills or tunnels or like, there's so many things you could do with a blank slate.
Yeah.
Why would you stop at a certain point? And I understand like simplicity and everything, but.
I wanted it simple, I wanted it doable. I really wanted it, like, a guy with a stock Miata, I wanted him to be able to do it.
We're talking about a Formula D track.
I know.
We're talking about pushing the envelope.
So
what's the point of letting a stock Miata do it? Screw that guy.
Anybody can do it. I wanted everyone to be able to do it. And then that was actually funny, like you said, jumps and stuff, because Maximum Driftcast had like a prediction page or post on their page, and I sent in a bunch of things with corkscrews and a flip, whatever it is.
It would have been rad.
Oh, I know. We do have plans for a jump, but like it would be like a removable thing on backtrack. I think that would be really cool, like a little step-up thing. You're only going to get off the ground this much.
Yeah, but it would be cool. Like,
oh, yeah.
You can push the envelope. You guys are building something specifically. No other, like they paved a horseshoe at Road Atlanta, and I guess they kind of do something for Long Beach, but like you guys had the ability to reimagine what it would be to pave something.
You know what's the craziest thing? We paved that track before FD even signed the papers that they were coming.
Really?
Yes.
That's commitment.
I mean, it was only like a day or two, but yeah, we started paving before they signed.
Right, interesting.
Yeah.
And let's go to, so that's the history. We said a couple minutes and we take 20 to do it. We're bad at this. But, all the cars. So now let's go into, one of the unique things about you is you work at the track, you're there probably all the time, you run a drifting school so you have unlimited amounts of drifting experience.
Yep.
You have cars at the track so you can test them all the time. You have family connections, networking, you know, all of the people in Drift Alliance or like, you know, at all of these organizations, people want to drive with you all the time and bribe you to get on the track so you get unlimited seat times. What are the realistic things, you know, associated with those? What's real, what's not? What is it like to do all this stuff? What's it like to be, you know, like the family owner of a track that you can drive all the time and all these things?
So like technically, yes, I could drive all the time, but I can't afford to drive all the time. That's expensive. That's way too expensive. So I only drive like 4 or 5 times a month in my car, and then it depends if a student wants me to drive their car. But like, do I really count it? Sure, I guess I could, but I'm only taking 2 laps, 3 laps at most a day in their car. So I don't get as much driving as some people may think.
But you're around it all the time.
Oh yeah, no.
You're around drifting constantly.
This is the longest I've been away from this will be the longest I've been away from the track in my whole life.
Wow.
Just over 2 weeks, yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm there every day. Every day. Yeah.
And what's it like being this, like, do you have free access where you can do anything? You don't need to ask permission for anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how come you can't like stack that into something crazy where like you have some Jackass type show or, you know, something crazy that the sky's the limit. You could shoot a pilot episode for something and get like a Netflix show.
Everyone always bugs me to make a YouTube channel, but like, I don't know.
You're like, why? We already own a track.
Yeah, I don't need to. I probably will eventually, but as of right now, I don't need to.
Yeah, you can do so many cool things.
Yeah.
You have so many fake friends that just want to come out and drive.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, there's some.
You're like, no, it's real.
I really got to see through some their bullshit. I do. There's some people out there that like, you only want to drive. You don't care about me at all.
Yeah. But to be honest, like at least they're clear about it. They want to drive.
They just want to drive. And I mean, honestly, if someone's clear and they just want to drive and they don't care about me, but they just want to drive, they're not trying to make fake friends, that's fine. I don't care. Sure.
So you said something interesting earlier. You have a mountain of seat time. You're at that track constantly. Whether or not you're driving on it, you're teaching on it, you're watching people. You have more experience than anyone else at that track from just a perspective of being there all the time and growing up around it. But you haven't really driven anywhere else except one other track.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
The only place
Why
I
is
ever
that?
went to was OSW. It's because it's my backyard. I didn't have to go anywhere. But, you know, this Pacific Northwest is a dream.
But you have so many
area of me.
friends that probably are always inviting you to, oh, come drifting. This one drift week will be more tracks than you've ever driven at by double.
It'll double it for sure. Double it for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And what you also have 2 cars. You have a JZ car and you have an EcoBoost 3.5 liter
3.5
BMW.
Yep, an E46. That's actually a really crazy car. It's a monster. It is a monster. It made 480 and 525, and that 525 torque comes on before the turbos.
What do you mean before the turbos? I don't get it.
Before boost, I'm making 500 pound-feet of torque.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, right?
The turbos are what make the boost. And the
Well,
turbos
yes,
make the
turbos
power.
do make boost. That's
The
right.
turbos make the torque.
No, the torque, like, all right, maybe it's not 0 pounds of boost, but it's not 22, which I spin my turbos to, or the boost I'm.
What's a better engine, the JZ or that EcoBoost? What makes more power and is more reliable and cheaper and newer and all these different things, and which do you like the most?
All right, well, you just said a whole bunch of things that like you have to make a list, and then it's
So it
JZ
doesn't
and
go too long.
EcoBoost.
What would you rather have in this car for this trip, the EcoBoost motor or the JZ?
JZ, I know them more. But I like the way that EcoBoost drive more. Now that could change because maybe I'll put bigger turbos on the EcoBoost, and I'm like, this thing sucks. It could. I don't know. Like who uses EcoBoost? Nobody.
It's
So-
a very unique thing,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have a lot of experience at it soon. Why don't you do something like, why don't you drive that thing more and test it more? Just tire prices or something?
You know, I finished it in October and I drove it a bunch. And then, well, a little bit before that, I got a DM on my school page from Aaron saying, hey, we want to do a Northeast Drift Week. And then eventually I had to bail because of FD. I'm on an FD team and I had to be out in California. And I was so mad that you guys couldn't make it. I was so mad. But it's okay, you can come back. Finished the car, and then I'm like, dude, I can't miss another one. And then when you announced this one, I started refreshing this car because I crashed it at a Gambler really bad. I had to replace the whole rear end of the car. And now it looks great. But I knew that was gonna be a ton of work. So I drove my EcoBoost car one time after this and I blew up the diff. And I put it away because this car needed to get done.
Yeah.
This car needed to get done for this trip. So the only reason I don't drive that car more because of you.
Okay, fair enough.
It's okay though.
You know, I have really high hopes for like watching you drive now. I'm like, he must be insanely good. He's around Chelsea all the time, and like, you know,
The first time
such a good driver, lives at a
Chelsea
track,
only
grew
hung
up
out
at
like
a track.
twice.
Well, I'm just saying, you must be an extremely good driver, and it's gonna be very interesting to see you at like Villains and all these different tracks. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you teach people for a living how to drift.
You know what was amazing though? And it makes me feel really good, like that I'm actually doing something right.
You're like, yeah, but the students know less. No, I'm an expert to any of them.
Yeah. So, one of his students today, I was at Park this morning, one of his students was struggling a little bit. And Chelsea gets pulled in every direction when he's at Park. And this student did it like 4 or 5 times in a row. And I'm like, all right, fuck, I gotta tell him. And I go in there and I look at him and I go, hey, where are you looking when you do this? And he was like, oh, Chelsea just told me to do that. I'm like, yeah, what'd he say? And he goes, look out.
ahead.
Look ahead and not look at the inside of the corner in this particular corner. And he was like, yeah, that's what he said. And I'm like,
Do it.
I'm like, yeah, do that. And then he started getting it. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I know what I'm doing, I think.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Well, I hope so. You own a school.
I know.
You're like,
But like, and then it happened again. Like, Chelsea said something, and in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's what I would have told him. Like, I need to tell him this, and then Chelsea goes and tells him that. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. We think the same. He's a great teacher, and if I try to think the same as him, maybe I could be a good teacher too. I don't know. But hopefully.
so to jump subject slightly, you have everything lined up for you. You have a family that loves you, I assume.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have
they
a
do.
family with means and networking connections. You own a track for unlimited seat time. You have cars, you have friends, you have industry connections, you have tons of big companies that pay to sponsor the track and stuff probably, or with Formula D. What is the limiting factor with what you want to do, and like how high are your aspirations and everything? I know you're young, you're 23, but racing careers, go
almost
pretty
23.
young.
Yeah.
What are your aspirations? Do you just want to have a school? Do you want to teach? Do you want to run the track? Do you want to be a professional driver? Do you want to be an influencer? What do you want to be? You want a TikTok star? Snapchat girl? OnlyFans account?
Snapchat girl, for sure. No, so I would like to dabble in a lot of different things. I'm definitely, as long as that track is there, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna work there, and I'm probably gonna be running it. So that's a thing. The school, I would always love to keep the school. Hopefully someday I could be like Chelsea and have employees. It's really it. And then I can focus on the track and run the track, and maybe sometimes help with the school. And then I would also really like to get my pro spec license and try it. I can't remember if I said this already, but I spot for Ricky Hoffman, and I have so much fun doing it. I want to be there and drive with all the guys at the top level.
And if you don't win at your own track, that's going to be a shame.
Oh, I know. I already lost
You
twice
won't be
in the
able to,
top 32 at my track, so
Live that down.
yeah.
Okay. Is there any
Actually, Hobson beat me.
Ben Hobson?
Ben Hobson beat me.
Yeah, that car's a monster though.
in this car.
Yeah,
and that was
but
when
that
this
car's
car was
crazy.
a stock JZ. Now, you know, I make 350 horsepower instead of 260.
And he makes 800 instead of 700. Like, with crazy Volino sticky tires and everything.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that was a good plug. I'm supposed to plug Volino.
Oh,
that was
yes.
good.
I ordered, I think 22 for this trip.
Oh, good.
Yes.
All right, so plug your school again. Where do they find you?
East Coast Drift School. Do I have?
Yeah,
Well, it's
he's
just
got a
East
shirt
Coast
on.
Drift School on Instagram. And if you ever want a lesson, you just have to DM me. That's all.
So hit him up on Instagram.
Yep.
You can go drive with someone that works at the track
Yep.
and is there all the time. That's awesome.
Yep.
Is there anything else you can think of? Something that makes you unique or something the audience would want to learn about you or anything else?
Me unique?
Well, I'm just saying you have all of these. I don't even know all the questions to ask.
I don't know. There's
Like,
something
how
super
hard are
random.
drifters on the track? Are drifters the plague of the existence
no,
of all
no,
tracks?
no. So the only thing that really happens to a track is like the edges start to chip. I honestly find that the grip guys ruin the track more, at least my track, because I don't know if it's right, but there's like felt underneath the top layer of pavement at my track. And
Felt?
Yes. I don't know why, and I'm sure there's a reason behind it. I never really thought about it. Yeah, I have no idea. And when they corner, like there's one corner on backtrack that they go up over a hill, and then it's the hardest left that we have. And they actually split the track, not the drifters. So I thought that was kind of interesting, which is not really a big deal. Once every like 3 or 4 years, we just have to get a thermal truck to go back there and then heat the thing up, and then it'll just be one again.
Weird.
But the only reason the tracks get destroyed from drifting is dirt drops. That's it, really.
Okay.
And then like if you don't have concrete edges, like what Clutch Kickers did, I don't know if you saw that, but like on the edges of the track, they put concrete.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's a thing normal tracks do. You got to protect themselves.
that's what we did. We did 6 inches down, drop with 2 feet, and we haven't had a single issue.
But then the drifters just use the outside of that all the way.
Oh no, that's
But
fine.
it doesn't break up so bad.
I'll put dirt there all day long. Any time before an event, doesn't matter. I'll do it. No problem. The part that sucks is when the track starts to chip away. That's what sucks. Because when the track starts to chip away, it makes it really hard to repair, and it's expensive to repair. And like asphalt is $1 million a mile. It's crazy.
Yeah, that breaks my brain. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before we end this, I'm going to give him a huge amount of responsibility.
Uh-oh.
You are going to go to Ebisu with us one day.
Oh, 100%.
It is my favorite place on earth. And the reason I'm going to drag you out there is because I believe over the next 10, 15, however many years, if you do, you know, become the management of your track and all of these things, and you want to expand or you want to do anything.
Oh no, there's already plans about that.
But I was just going to say, like,
Yeah.
copying some of the purely beautiful, like the Toge track and like, you know, very specific things about Ebisu, you're one of the few people in the United States that has the power to do that. Maybe Formula D does, but I don't think that fits their motive and stuff.
They definitely have the power to do it, but I don't think it fits like.
Yeah, it doesn't fit their thing.
Yeah.
But you and your family absolutely have the ability to be like Kumakubo and have long-term vision, the way to monetize it, the land, the experience, like just the family connection over the last 60 years of doing all this stuff. I think that you have a great responsibility and like you're gonna grow into that.
Yeah.
And I dragged Adam LZ and Taylor Ray and like Ben Hobson, you know, I drag all these guys out there because I'm like, I want, so one of the things with Ben Hobson or like Adam, I'm like, and this is me being ideological about this or whatever, but I'm like, you guys have the ability to ruin drifting for other people and yourselves. And like also David Mesker, I was like, you need to learn to just like love it and like not be frustrated with it at the track and like how we kind of do it.
Yeah.
And not saying the Japanese do it so much better, it's just they have like a ski resort of drifting and like all the bullshit kind of is removed and like we change our mindsets and we can't modify our cars there, so we don't have these crazy cars and everybody has the same thing. Like there's so many cool things that kind of come together, and that's ending now because the Japanese golden age is kind of going away and all these things.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was gonna say you should really go with this because you already do live at a track and stuff, and the track is probably like your work. Like you feel like a janitor at the track a lot, right?
I actually pretty much am a janitor at the track.
That's how I feel at Drift Week. That's how I feel at everything. And when you go to Ebisu, it's like this magical mountain town, like ski resort drifting that shouldn't exist, and it's so wonderful. And you have the ability to bring that to America, and I really hope someone can, because I see these tracks that have $600 million budgets like COTA, and there's no fun at COTA.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've never been there, but like it's no fun.
Yeah. The only tracks
well, we have fun, but like the track isn't fun.
The only tracks I've been to are FD tracks, and then and Park today. That was a first for me. And then OSW and Raceway. That's it. And Wall. Well, that's FD track. So, yeah.
Yeah. Wall doesn't have any joy there. Do you agree?
I mean, honestly, I like.
No, I mean from like the race car's perspective and stuff. Like you're there to do business. Like as a driver, and as a driver in a car, you're there to do business. It's not a joyful place. You can have fun as a spectator, or like someone on the team doing everything.
Yeah, but I have a lot of fun.
You're there to like do business.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting preachy. Sorry.
It's okay.
Like, you better do this.
Oh, well, I'm going to go with you to Japan. I've been wanting to do that for years.
Yeah.
Years and years.
You need to. Before it gets too late and the stupid JZX are $50,000.
They're getting
Thanks, Trenton.
Yeah.
For running these stupid prices up.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. I forgive him.
Okay. We're gonna end this.
Okay.
Want to say anything? I'm done.
I feel like we're missing things. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We have all week. If
we can do another interview too. Okay. Thank you so much. I think he's an interesting person. Go to his drift school if you're up in the region. I think it's rad that he has like the opportunity to change drifting in the United States, especially because he grew up in it and all these things. I think it is going to be super interesting. This is the first time I've met him, by the way.
Yes.
We've chatted and everything.
Yes.
But I'm super excited to meet people that have the ability to sculpt drifting for the next 20 years. Because if we don't do it, there will not be an extent, like drifting will go away. There's not enough cool places to drift in the United States. Like we keep finding them on Drift Week. I didn't know Honda Musselman and like some of these amazing tracks existed.
I didn't know about it until you posted about it.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these places need to be advertised. Drifters need to go there. Adam LZ is a great force for that because he advertises to everybody that these places exist. Drift cars everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
Boom. Hi everybody. I want to say thank you for watching the video, and here is all the dates for Drift Week 3 out in the Pacific Northwest. We're going to be out on multiple, I think 4 public dates. You can probably see them over here. And we're going to be drifting, doing ride-alongs, entertaining you guys, driving across the country, having people walk behind me. I'll see you there. Bye.